Okay, in this tutorial, hi, this is Ed, and I just want to run through what we really need. As I mentioned, we're going to be creating hundreds and hundreds of these pages, so it's really important to get this concept down because this is what you're going to be doing over and over. Um, and we're going to be going, nationwide, city by city, looking for the largest cities in the country, all the way down to towns that have 50,000 people. So we need to be able to really rewrite the same thing over and over and over, and just follow what we've laid out here for you here. Uh, so in this video, I'm just going to talk about the the keyword variations. Now, I just want to show you real quick before we start. If you notice, what we have here is we've got, the way the site is set up is we have, in this particular site, we have 4 cities. We're going to add another 6 cities to this particular website. Now, once this website is done, we're going to build out another one just like it, called metrocrete.com, and this is going to be metrocrete.com is going to be the same look, it's going to be the same strategy, and we're going city by city on a nationwide basis. And you can see that if you look at any of the pages, these are all city pages, right? And all the city pages, like this one here, is your Boston, Massachusetts city page. And if you look, we don't have that much content here. Maybe it's about 100 words per description, okay? And if you need to know anything about this particular topic, you can go over to the epoxy floor page. Unfortunately, this is, okay, here we go. So you can see, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about epoxies. Epoxies are, they can be very decorative, like this. This is called a metallic epoxy. You can see they've used 2 different colors, and they mix the colors together, and they use saw cuts to get the look of tile in this one. Um, in this one here, this is what they call a chip system, and you can see all the different uses. Biological floors, commercial kitchens, warehouses, kennels, ramps, loading docks. So you can read up about everything that you need to know about epoxies. You can see they come in different colors. Okay, they can be gray. See, this is a chip floor like the one up here. Okay, and what they do is they take these vinyl chips, and when they put the wet epoxy on the floor, and then they take these chips and they throw it in the epoxy, and when it dries, the chips, these color chips, stick in the epoxy, and then they put another coat on top of it to protect it. It's called a sealer. And you can see a lot of times they start out, a lot of times concrete floors, maybe they've already been painted, and they have to grind the floors, and they get the coating off the floor. So this here, if you read this epoxy page, will tell you everything that you really need to know about epoxies. Okay, and so let me go back. Um, okay, this particular page, stamped concrete. Okay, and stamped concrete, what they do with stamped concrete is they pour concrete, and while it's still wet, um, they will use these patterns, these stamp patterns, and they push them down into the wet concrete. Now this is a paver. This is called a paving stone. These are a little bit different. Stamped concrete and paving stones, sort of similar. You can look online to learn a little bit about them, but you can see the difference. Here's a paver. Here's stamped concrete. Pavers look better. They look a lot more authentic, mainly because the stamped concrete gets sealed. But either way, it's a good option. And these are paving stones. These are paving stones. They're in a brick style. And if you want to know a little bit about stamped concrete, watch this video. It'll show you what the process is, so you can understand what this is, and you'll understand how many different places you can use stamped concrete. But primarily, stamped concrete and pavers are used on pool decks and patios and walkways and things like that. Primarily Stamped concrete and pavers are used outdoors. There is one kind of stamped concrete that can be used indoors, and they call it a stamped concrete overlay. So it's like a, it's like a thin coating of concrete you put down over existing concrete. Anyway, polished concrete is a little different. Polished concrete is an interior floor use. It's used in restaurants, retail stores, like this here. Um, it's used in warehouses. Sometimes it's used in residential home garages and basements. Um, but it's and again, if you go look at this here, you can see this is a polished concrete floor with a stain, with an acid stain in the floor. You can see the different types of results that you can get. Sometimes it's gray, sometimes it's beige, sometimes it's stained like this one up here. Okay, you can use different tints. You can see warehouse. Here's one done in a residential home. This one looks like it was done in a little office. Okay, and again, everything that you need to know about polishing and thin coatings that you'll put over. Sometimes just a pure polish on a concrete floor doesn't work, so you have to put a coating over the floor. Okay, and okay, so that's that. Now let's go down to stained concrete. Staining is it's different than paint because it's see-through. It's transparent. Okay, and but if you go and look at the stained page, you'll understand what stained concrete looks like and how many different places you can use it. You can use it in the concrete polishing process. You can make it very decorative on floors. Um, and it can, there's all kinds of stains and dyes. But if you need to know anything, just look at these pages. Okay. Now, I just wanted to just show you something right here. So when you write your pages, okay, that's what we're primarily, I'm not going to talk about articles here, but I'm going to talk about, your pages. And, when you write your pages, like if you look at any of these, right, okay, let's just look at these. If you're going to use 20 words here, use 20 words right here and use 20 words here. If you're going to use, like this one, I don't like because we didn't use enough words to keep it balanced. You see what I mean? It's not perfect. Like this is 2 lines more than this. This is only 3 lines. This is, 5 lines. This is 4 lines. It just doesn't look clean. I like to keep it all balanced, sort of like this one. This one down here, again, not perfect. So if you're going to use 20 words in your floor solutions, use 20 words here and 20 words here. If you're going to use 25, use 25 here, 25 here, 25 there, or thereabouts, so it balances. Okay. And you can see here that what I've done is we've used floor solutions, epoxy flooring, concrete floors, flooring professionals, concrete professionals, flooring experts. Satisfaction guaranteed, committed to your satisfaction. Again, satisfaction guaranteed. And what we're doing is we're mixing the words around. Like sometimes we'll use the words, words here, and then on this one we've used the words over here. So we're mixing it around so that every page is different. You're going to be doing this 700 times, so just keep playing around with it. But it's got to pass Copyscape because we can't have duplicate content. That's really, really important. So, what I've done here for you is just to give you an idea. I've shown you like epoxies. Like for example, you want to use different variations. Like for under epoxy, there's epoxy flooring, epoxy coatings, epoxy installers, epoxy contractors, epoxy floor installers, epoxy floor contractors, garage floor epoxies, garage floor paint, garage floor painters, on and on. Here's different kinds of uses for epoxies: garage floors, basements, industrial, kitchens, retail stores, restaurants, even like airplane hangars and schools and things like that. Same thing with polished concrete. Like polished concrete and epoxy can be used in the same places, right? Stamped concrete is really stamped concrete, concrete stamping. There's other variations. You can look at the stamped concrete page, but you want to use you want to mix it up: stamped concrete, concrete stamping, stamped concrete pool decks, stamped concrete patios, concrete stamping patios. Paver. Different. You can talk about the different kinds of pavers: brick and cobblestone. Okay. But you can see that concrete, stamped concrete and pavers are primarily used outside. Um, there is one kind of stamped concrete which is called a stamped concrete overlay, which is a thin coating that can be used to resurface ugly concrete indoors, and you can stamp that to look like brick and tile. Okay. All right. So you can see that we're really mixing this up. So you want to just keep mixing this up. Different, use it different words, different sequence, mix and match. Um, for you can take a look at this. I'm not going to explain it, but again, if you look down here at the epoxy, okay, I don't know how many words we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like 90 words here. In this one here, we probably have 60 words, so that's 150. This one here is I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 60 words plus this line here. So you maybe have 70. So you can mix it around. 100 words is the ideal amount, but I would say 75 to 100 words is probably good for each description, and you can see each one has been written differently. Okay, and that's all we want you to do is just follow this. Don't try and recreate it. Don't just keep it really simple. Same thing with pavers. Okay, you can see we've added a little bit more content here, so we have about 10 words on each line. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, about 11. So maybe there's 110 words on this one. This one's got a little bit less. Just mix it around. Okay, make sure you talk about commercial and residential. Okay, again, polished concrete, mix it around. You can see how, just read through this and see how we did this, and just stick with this format. And another thing, if you understand keyword density, try and not use the word, any particular word like concrete or flooring, more than 3% of the time. So for every 100 words, I would say try and keep it 3%. Like if you use the word concrete, try and use it 3-4 times per 100 words at the most, 4 times at the most. So you might have to play around with those words. So anyway, that's the story. I hope this helps.